Looks like it's working. That's good news. I am going to be answering questions and doing things um, off my iPad. So my comments, your comments will be coming at the same time as me. So there may be a little bit of a delay with that. Looks like there's some sort of an error on here. Try this again. All right, so I think we got that fixed. Had to fix a little bit of error off screen, but I think I'm back to it. Let me save this. All right, looks like we should be good to go. There should be a chat available soon, hopefully. It's supposed to be one. Had a little issue with if you don't see the chat live, just jump out and jump back into it. It looks like it's working now. So had a little bit of an issue with it, but I think we're back in action, so that's good. I really have to say this. Hi. It's been a while since I've been on YouTube. It's actually been about 2 months since I've been on YouTube. That's not been intentional. Got a lot of stuff going on. I've actually got some videos sitting here that I need to edit for the YouTube channel, but it's really not been an easy thing to do. So I will be, taking comments or anything in the chat there. I'm watching it off of my iPad, so I may be a little bit delayed on your questions, but I'll definitely get to them all. Hello, Mark from Missouri. Yeah, I have not been on YouTube in nearly 2 months. I've got several videos sitting there that I need to edit. I've really been spending most of my time painting fishing lures. My day job is not fishing lures. I have a whole day job that keeps me busy and everything like that. But my evening job, which really starts about 9 o'clock at night, every night, this kind of keeps me busy. Tyler Nelson, hello from Plainfield. Dude, you're not far. I mean, you're literally like 10 minutes from me. So if you know where Marishka's is, I'm not too far from there at all. So I'm literally right there. But yeah, I figured I'd just jump on here real quick, say hello to everybody. Like I said, it's been quiet in this channel for a while, just because I've been painting a lot of fishing lures and working a day job. And look at that, I got a fly on my lure. Yeah, I've honestly not made YouTube a priority. When you got customers ordering stuff, that becomes a priority. Customer service is a very important thing. Comments, so you got to be able to do that. But yeah, so right now I'm just working on some swim baits. Nothing crazy, but they are. This is really one of my most popular baits. So these swim baits wind up looking like a shad when it's all said and done. Kind of a bigger shad, yes, but they work really, really well. I was actually out this weekend fishing with one and absolutely love the action on it. If you're not familiar with swim baits, you obviously have to. I would recommend doing a little bit of research on how to actually fish one. But once you start fishing them, man, they become very, very addictive. So these here, I'm painting these up as shad. All of these, I was just seemed like I had something on it, but it was just a weird color on this thing. But yeah, so I'm painting these up. I'm gonna go and basically at this point I painted it white, which was kind of like a base coat, like a primer. Then I went over it with silver, and then I went over it with this top secret color that kind of gives it this purplish, bluish thing to it, you know, this color to it. So that's a color I don't really talk about very much. A little bit hard to see with this lighting, but it's definitely there, and it's got this cool color to it. So next step after this for me is to go, you know, put some paint along the back, give it the shad dot, kind of fill this thing in the rest of the way. I've got one of these that's going to be heading to Idaho already. And these are just for a little bit of inventory. I'll probably wind up making more because I always do, because it's my #1 selling bait. So, but tonight, these were kind of left over from what I was doing earlier this week. So I'm like, all right, let me just try to get these finished up. I had about 6 lures go out. A guy called me up and asked me if I could make him some specific stuff. And he's like, you know, I need this stuff. I need it right away for a fishing trip I'm going on overnight. If you want these, it's going to take me some time over the next. It's going to take me a couple hours to accomplish what we're looking to do. And I think he placed an order at like 5 o'clock or like noon, and I was able to get them to him at like 5:30 that night. It was basically from scratch, painting them all the way up. And then, you know, he showed up at my house with lures and stuff to go that night. So sometimes the demand can be that fast. Sometimes I have the availability to do it. Sometimes I don't. But yeah, it's definitely fun to be doing. So I'm just kind of rambling here. But, you know, like I said, I've not been on YouTube in so long for any reason. So for me, this is like, hey, hello, I'm still here, and hopefully this week I can get some of these videos I have sitting there edited. I forget how many I have. It's I think 3 or 4, maybe 5 that I have sitting there on my Mac, taking up tons of space, but they need to be edited, and I just have not had the time to do it. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to get these things painted. As of right now, we've got them all painted with the silver, and we're going to take this color here and we're going to paint them. So I got 5 of them to do, and then I've got more sitting up here from another little thing I'm doing. Email me at bpflures@gmail.com. You can hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on Facebook Messenger, wherever. Hit me up on TikTok if I follow you there. It doesn't matter where you hit me up. If you're looking for something custom, let me know. See if I can do it, see if we can work something out. But so yeah, what we're going to do here at this point is we're going to go and paint black along the back. It's going to drip down just a little bit. We're going to paint it down just a tiny little bit, but we really just want a black back here, a little bit of overhang or overspray. Then we're going to hit a little bit on the cheeks after that. And yeah, I got 5 of these to do, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to put a glove on because I really don't want to get paint all over my hand. And now we're good to go. So really, I start off with really light coats, and then as I get everything kind of outlined, then I start going darker with it. I'm really just trying to hit the back and then cause a little bit of overhang or overspray on the side. Kind of like that. You can see I got the back. It's all done there. And then I'm trying to get a little bit of overhang off the sides. Now I just have to do this side here. I usually extend it out the top of the tail just a little bit, and on the very tips of the tail, I want to giving it a dash of this color right on each tip of the tail. Just kind of my signature swim bait, I guess you could say, shad jointed swim bait. So we got that. Looks pretty uniform. It's okay if it's not perfect. These look pretty good though. So got it just like that. Then we'll go hit it on the cheek a little bit. Hit the cheek just like that. Give it a little bit of that color. The color I'm using is actually black magenta. So it's not a straight black. It's like a black with a little bit of purple or a reddish tone to it, or magenta. So it's a little bit different, but I absolutely love these. Like I said, I know I've sold a lot of these because it seems to be something popular. I've kind of tweaked the design a little bit over time, giving it a little bit more black to the face, adding the purplish strange color to the body. But so far, this looks pretty good. Now I've got to go repeat this on all of these. And then after I let this sit for a few minutes, then I can do the shad dots on either side, add the eyes, all that stuff. So I'm going to blast through these real quick. After you do these for a while, you just kind of have a feel for it. Just like anything you do, the very first time you do something, it seems like it takes forever. But then after you do it for a while, it just gets easier and easier. Now, I'm not saying about that about every lure. I'm just talking about this shad because I've done so many of these at this point. So I could definitely still screw them up, but I kind of know what's in my brain and exactly how I want these things. So that's what kind of makes it easier at this point. There we go, another one done. See, it's not too bad once you get flowing with it and you kind of know how you want to do it. And sometimes you'll see little spots where you're like, hey, let me spray a little bit more there. But I mean, overall, I mean, this is the same thing as this. Let's see if we can get them both on the screen. Yeah, a little bit hard to see. I apologize for the lighting like that, but definitely the same kind of thing. So Tyler's asking, how and when did you start painting lures? So I started painting lures January 11th of 2020. So right before COVID started. I hate fishing, or let me rephrase that. I hate ice fishing. So I don't go out and do ice fishing, and I wanted to do something fishing related for the winter time. So that's kind of when I officially started my business. 6 months prior to that, I started watching people. I started looking at YouTube and started learning what other people do, how they paint, why they paint, where they get their stuff, what equipment I was going to need, all that stuff. So really, I started painting January 11th of 2020. But before that, 6 months before that, was really when I started learning and investigating and watching other people paint lures and talking about how they paint the lures and why they paint it a certain way. Really, I think a lot of people could do this if you do it to be creative. I think if you do it for money, yeah, don't get me wrong, I make money and I sell baits, but I kind of think if you do it solely for money, it's just not going to be as effective. Like I said, I sell a lot of baits and I make money off of it, nothing to be nothing, not enough to where I can quit my day job. Um, but it's just one of those things where it's like you put a lot of work into it, and it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth having a creative uh, moment and time to do this stuff. So that's kind of why I really love doing it. I've got one fly flying around my shop that's absolutely driving me crazy. It's actually sitting over here. It was just sitting over here on a water bottle, driving me nuts. Just one fly, just going around. So the why of I started doing it, like I said, I don't do ice fishing because I hate the cold and I hate winter. Yes, I live in Illinois and I should be used to it by now, but I'm not. I hate the cold weather. So I wanted something fishing related to do while everyone else was out there ice fishing, and it just so happened to be lure painting. I bought after my 6 months of research, I bought all the equipment and I tried and experimented, and at first it didn't go so well. And then over a period of time, after constantly practicing and watching YouTube videos and reading things and all this stuff, finally it all started coming together. Somebody messaged me and said, "Hey man, yeah, I posted some lures that I painted," and somebody messaged me and said, "Hey man, can I buy some from you?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, I don't really know what to charge you. I've never done that before. I've never sold a lure." So I think I charged him like $9 or $10 or $8, or I don't even know at this point. And they weren't really good lures, but he bought them and took a chance and never complained. And that's when it all started. I just kept playing around with things and learning and getting better at it. Not that I'm the greatest or anything. There's people that are way better than me, and way farther along than I am. But I just kind of got into a pretty good rhythm with it. Like, hey, I know what I like to paint. I know what I can paint. I paint some crazy stuff. I paint some natural stuff, and it winds up being pretty cool. So just hitting on these shads. So for anybody who's just joined, I've not been on YouTube for a while, just because I've been so busy, and yeah, I'm just on here now, just painting some lures because why not? I'm out here painting anyways. And I sometimes I do go live on TikTok. I go live on Instagram. I just hadn't gone live um, on YouTube. So because I don't have 1,000 subscribers, I can't go live from my phone or anything. So like off to my side here, I have my computer set up, and then I have a camera sitting right here. Then I have my iPod here, just to pay attention to the comments. So. Hey, what's up, stay-at-home piper? Where's the pipe? The pipes are put away. I quit smoking a pipe from August until a few weeks ago, before I had my first pipe. Now I've smoked a couple pipes since then, and now I kind of put them back away. So the reason being, and these are tobacco pipes we're talking about for those of you that don't know. The reason being is I just found myself smoking too much, and it became a habit instead of a hobby. Plus, when you don't really have anybody to smoke it with, it's not as fun. So that's kind of just one of those things. Um, so yeah, it's just I kind of retired from that. Jed asks if my lures are sold in stores. So I have my own website. I actually have an Etsy page too, and I do have there's a few mom and pop stores that sell my lures. So local to me in Morris, Illinois, there's a place called Knickknacks Bait and Tackle. It's just some dude named Nick that's got a small bait shop that just recently opened. He's got live bait, he's got hard baits, whatever. So I've got a whole wall in there that I've got. I think I put 50 lures or something crazy in there last month. So, or at the beginning of July. So they are sold in, small stores or whatever like that, but not the big stores. I'm not that big of a deal. So, I mean, I do sell a lot, but you have to sell millions to get into, Cabela's or Bass Pro or whatever. And I'm not selling millions because it's just me and my shop here. Well, you never know. I mean, I'm not going to say no that I won't be selling in a big store one day, but if I can come up with some cool designs and some cool baits of my own, have them manufactured, you never know. I mean, you never know where somebody could be. So, if the Guggen Squad can do it, if Sixth Sense can do it, if a lot of these other companies can do it that are just mom and pop places that become big, I don't see why I can't do it. At this point, I'm just going to love what I'm doing and just keep going. And if I can make some things happen, if I can make the right connections, I'll definitely pursue something. I would much rather work for myself than another company. I have a great job. My day job is amazing. I work for an absolute amazing company. But what I'm saying is, if I could work for myself, I definitely would be. JT Casting, what's going on, man? How are you? Just here painting these shad. Trying to get some stuff done. Haven't been on here in quite some time, so I figured I'd just do it. Stay at home. How are you liking the Trail Boss? I love the Trail Boss, dude. I absolutely love my Trail Boss. So I will say I bought my Trail Boss. It's a 2020 Chevy Silverado Trail Boss. I got it with the 6-cylinder because I don't need the 8-cylinder. There's no need for me to have it. My boat and trailer weigh like 1,300 or 1,400 pounds. I don't need to tow, really anything over that. I can tow 16, 20,000 with my truck, but I don't need to tow anything more than that. So I went with the 6-cylinder. And mine is the custom, not the LT. So I'm missing kind of like a lot of the extras. So it's kind of a bare bones thing. I got power windows and, Apple CarPlay and, all that stuff. But I am missing some of the neat stuff, but I don't care. I love it for the price that I paid for it, and 0% financing, and for what I need and how much I use it, I absolutely love it. It's a 2020, and I've got 8,800 miles on it. So I don't work crazy amount. I think most of I work every day, but I live very close to work. I live very close to everything. But now I'm working from home. My office is actually right behind me. I've been working, the last year basically. So I do stuff on computers all day. So I haven't put any miles on the truck. So 8,000 miles, that's basically brand new. But I love the truck. It works perfect. I've had zero issues with it. Yeah, I'll have that thing forever. JT Casting, is that an Iwata Eclipse? Yes, it is. I've got the Eclipse and I've got the Neo. So this is the Neo. These cost about $60. This is the Eclipse HSPC CP HPCS. These go for like 160, something like that. Definitely worth the investment. If you're just starting out, for somebody who is just starting out, I'd say go ahead and get the Neo. If you can't afford this, it's fine. But once you upgrade from the Neo to this, you're going to be extremely happy you did. You could definitely tell the difference, the flow of the paint, how fine you can get the paint, all of that stuff. You could definitely see a difference. Excuse me, I'm yawning like crazy. The reason I'm the reason I have the Neo is because I actually bought first, but I was doing a project to where I kind of needed to like paint something real quick and then switch colors and paint it again real quick. And I noticed I couldn't do that with one airbrush because I'm like painting, and I clean everything out, get the paint out, put the other color in, paint it again, and then I go back and forth and to get one lure done. So I'm like, I've got to buy another lure to get this order done, or another airbrush. So I just bought a Neo. Like, hey, let me see how this is. It's good, it works, but the Eclipse is the way where it's at. I use the Neo basically now for a lot of my primers. So if I'm doing heavy coats of paint on things, I'll use that as opposed to using the Eclipse. So I would like to get another Eclipse for sure. And if things continue to progress the way they are, then I will probably have one soon. So one thing I did just a few months ago was kind of took a leap in website. So for the last year or so, I've had an Etsy page, and I've been selling everything through Etsy, and I've done very well. And Etsy's been a great format for me, and Etsy has helped to promote me and get me customers that I probably wouldn't have got. But with that, Etsy takes out fees. And I kind of started getting annoyed with those fees. When you post something for sale, there's a fee. When you sell it, they get a percentage of it. If they market my website and I sell something because of that, then they get a cut of that. And it became a lot. And like I said, not that I'm trying to get rich off of this, but I need to be able to make money at it so I can continue to invest money into it. I'm not crazy worried about my time on something unless it's a big project. But I want to be reinvested for my costs that are in the business. So there's sometimes where I can recoup my time, and there's sometimes I can't. That's just the way it is. So it looks like I got all these. Looks like I might have to plug in my computer. Looks like I got all these painted here as far as what I needed to so far. Next step is putting shad dots on it. I will throw these. I'm going to slide these out here real quick, and then I'm going to grab my computer charger. So let me grab my computer charger, and you guys can stare at this for a second. Beforehand, I'm like, yeah, my computer should last. Battery's at like 70%. Well, that didn't last very long. I should have known. But we're all good now. It's charging, so no issues. Not going to have a problem. So yeah, these are the 5 that are painted. You can tell they all pretty much look uniform. Now the next step with these is to go put the shad dot on them. As I take a drink of water because it's very hot in here. Normally I'd be running the AC in here, but the AC is a little bit too noisy to have it on camera. So now at this point, like I said, we need to put the shad dot on all of these. It's literally just a dot on either side. How I do it with these allows me to make it perfectly consistent every time. So let me move these out of the way. Let me find my shad dot stencil. I've got so many stencils that I've created over the time Some I created, some I've actually purchased, just all depends. So I have a shad dot in here. Now I could use this stencil right here and get a shad dot, but the thing is, I personally don't want it to be a perfect circle on the side of baits. So I see a lot of companies that do shads, and these are big companies or mom and pops. A lot of these companies that do shads like that, they leave a perfect circle on the side of the bait. And I personally don't like to do that. And the reason I don't like to do that is because I've never seen a shad with the perfect circle on the side of their body. So a long while back, I cut one out, and I've been using it ever since. So it's not a perfect circle, and it's not meant to be. Right there. That is my perfect shad dot. That is not so perfect because I've never seen a shad with a perfect circle on its side. Does look like I have a little bit of cleanup to do on this thing now. After you use them for a while, you can get a little fuzz or whatever in here. So it looks like I just take my knife and just kind of clean it up just a tad bit. Make sure it looks good. Because after a while, this is just made out of a manila folder. And after a while, the manila folder will fray. So sometimes you just got to kind of clean up any of the fraying, or maybe a little bit of paint residue that's just hanging off of it. So I do that real quick. Almost done here. That's it. A perfectly imperfect shad dot, which is exactly what I wanted. So for me, on this particular bait, I personally put the shad dot. There's a line, a center line going down this bait, and I personally put the shad dot right here, right at the edge, before this first segment, and I just put it right in the middle here. So that's what I'll do now. Get this paint shaken up a little bit. And then really after, usually what I do is after I get these painted, I let them sit and put the eyes in and put my logo at the bottom, and that's time for clear coat. So I'm going to do this one real quick, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. There it is. Got my shad dot on there. It's perfectly imperfect. They match the exact location, but I'm okay if they're shifted a little bit different, just for the fact that that's exactly how fish are. So you have to have that uniqueness to it. So this lure is pretty much, as far as the paint, is done. It's a very simple bait, yet extremely effective. To me, I absolutely love making these because it's kind of evolved over a period of time with different colors and trying to find the best way to get this purple hue. Like I said, you cannot see this purplish color to it that's on there, which actually makes it like a real bait, like it's like a transition color that's all along the silver. But if you were to look at it in the sunlight, it looks killer. So that's yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. This guy's done. So now it's just time to move through and knock them out. I got paint in the airbrush, and once you got that, you just got to keep rocking and rolling, and because you don't want the paint that's in the paint and the airbrush to dry up at all. So then after I get all these dots done, what I'll do is kind of look over everything real quick. on each lure, and I'm happy with how things look. Not quite dark enough. If you guys are interested in any of my lures, you can go to bpflures.com. I've got a bunch of lures up there. I've got hats up there. I basically can. I almost have next day shipping depending on what day it is. I am traveling a little bit for work right now, so there are some weeks which I'll post on the website when I'm out of town, and it'll ship like the Thursday or Friday when I get back. But I ship things out pretty quick. Have a pretty good inventory, and yeah, have some. Try to get you your lures before the weekend. If there's something you've thought of or been thinking about or dreaming of for a period of time, and you haven't seen it in a store, and you want to share that with me and try to have me paint it, let me know. I would definitely love to work with you to get something painted. I've done some crazy custom work for some people that they've given me ridiculously high requests, and some way, somehow, I managed to fill those requests. If I can't, I will point you in the direction of somebody who can, because there's a lot of amazing lure painters out there in the world. So here we go. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. It has been a long day, long weekend, long week last week. So, but there we go. We've got 5. I'm not going to get them all in here for sure, but we've got 5 of these guys. It's hard to get them all in here, but they're all uniform. They all look alike. With that one, that one, and that one. So we got 5 uniform baits that I personally think look pretty good. Do you do buzz or spinner baits? No, I do not. That's a whole nother world. So to do hard baits is one thing. To do soft plastics, that's a whole nother setup, a whole nother investment, a whole nother learning experience. To do some of the bent baits, like I call it, your buzz baits, spinner baits, your jigs, all that stuff, that's a whole nother process of its own. So you've got several different tiers of kind of bait making. You can literally make your own bait, like take a piece of wood, put metal in it, do your joints, and actually make the whole entire bait, paint it and sell it. You can buy blanks, which are just like this. This is a blank, which is unpainted, and then you go paint the whole thing. Then you can go into the plastic world, and you can have tons of, you can make rubber worms, and you can make Ned rig setups, and you can make Senkos, and you can make all of that stuff. And that's a whole, small swim baits or big swim baits. That's a whole nother setup. You've got to have a microwave, and you got to have heat guns, and you got to have, like really nice molds for those plastics, which are not cheap. You get aluminum molds; they're $150 or $200 each, and they're injection molds. So then you got to get the injector to do that. That's a whole nother business in itself. To do spinner baits or buzz baits, you've got to get the little vices and setups to actually bend the wires, to make the skirts. So that, again, that's a whole nother setup in itself. Same thing with tie-in jigs. You know, you want to, or little flies. You want to do all that stuff. You've got to have special little equipment and machines to do all that stuff. So at this point, I've just stuck with the hard baits. I've not gone on to anything else yet. Will I? Sure, at some point. I'll probably start doing soft plastics because I've had a lot of customers request some stuff from me, but not at this point. My shop is way too small for that. I don't have time for it at this moment, but at some point it's going to happen. So I am going to start practicing like messing with some plastic baits from my personal stash, just as trailers on the end of my swim baits or swim jigs, just for me personally. And then over a period of time, once I start learning and maybe once I free up some time, then I'll start getting into soft plastics more. So like buzz baits and stuff like that, that'd probably be way down the line. If you want some, want me to find you some people that can, I do know a couple of people that do that. They're somewhere throughout the United States, but I could always message you some recommendations if you'd like some guys that do it custom. So all I'm doing at this point is going over the original paint job, just kind of looking at it and inspecting it a little bit, seeing if there's somewhere where maybe the paint didn't take or I didn't spray hard enough or whatever. So I'm just kind of like doing a light coat over everything just to make sure that we're good. Like I said, I have a standard that I want to hold, and especially with these baits, since I sell so many, I want them to look exactly the way my brain says they should look. All right, that's those. So all 5 of them sitting here now. So these guys, as far as the paint is done, what I'll do is I'll let this sit for like overnight, sometime tomorrow, probably tomorrow night. Then I'll wind up putting my logo on the bottom of these like I do all my other baits, and put the eyes in it, and then give it a clear coat. And the clear coat process, that's about an hour and a half to 2 hour process. So once I get everything else set up on it, I actually paint the clear coat on these. I put them in a UV box for 2 hours, and then I'm satisfied and they're ready to go. So technically tomorrow night, I do have these for sale on the website. I always keep them up there because I'm always making them. I have, I think, one in stock, one actually sitting up there complete right now for sale, but these will obviously be up there. One of them sold already, so I'll wind up having 4 more up there on the website probably tomorrow. But they are sitting up there available to buy. All right, so those are done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these off the stand here because I've got more stuff I'm working on. So at this point, now that this is done as far as paint-wise for me, so now I take this and I hook it up on my hooks up here that's off screen. It's just above my workbench, and that's where they lay. Lay? No, that's where they hang. They'll hang up there until probably tomorrow. Yeah, because it's 10:41 Central right now. So yeah, it'll be tomorrow. Then I'll get everything finished up with them. So I was also working on some, I do some catfish rattles. basically for a Santee rig setup, if you know what that is. So I was working on some catfish rattles earlier today. These are just these big, bright pink ones. I had a guy come over the other day, and he bought all my inventory of 4-inch and 5-inch rattles. So I got to start getting these things painted up again. These are basically if you fish for catfish, these will basically you'll have a weight holding your line in a specific place, and then you have this float which will float up like this, and then you hook your bait off of that. So the point of this is to keep your bait off the ground, because if you cast out and your bait hits the ground and it just sits there, what's the point? It gets covered in mud, gets covered by rocks, not going to do anything. So this floats up and allows your bait to kind of float up off the bottom as well, and then you catch more fish that way. So it's working on some of these. Typically, people like them in super bright colors, so that's what one of those things I was working on. But I did have a guy come over and buy a bunch of them the other day, so I have I've got some over at the tackle shop that I work with, but I don't have any in my personal inventory at this point. So I had to paint a couple. I got a couple of them hanging here, but I've got to paint more in 4-inch. I don't have any of those either. All right, so that's the fifth one just hanging out here. So now what I was working on the other night was kind of a tweak on a crappie, I guess you could say. So let me move all this stuff out of the way. So this is a 5-inch swim bait. It's got a paintbrush style tail to it. This one, it's a little bit hard to see with the coloring on my screen at least, but you've got like a sand color, like a tan color, and it goes up to this green, a very light green. So I'm going to use that as like the base or the foundation for a crappie. So this will be just a big crappie bait. So next step for me on this is using a stencil to basically spray those crappie black patterns all over the side. So there'll be the black along the top, and then I want a light pattern on either side of this thing to resemble a crappie. So it might be like the crappie you see by you, or it might not be. If you just Google crappie, you're going to notice 10 or 15 or more different styles and colors, and it's geographics and what's in the water and all that stuff dictate the colors that are on these fish, what nutrients they take in, what bacteria they take in, all that stuff. So I'm doing it just based on one of the ones I saw that I'm like, hey, that's a cool color, and that's where we're at right now. So for this, I don't think I'm going to leave it on this thing, because I don't like using the stencil like this and trying to press on this and try to get it right and not knock it over. So I think what I'm going to do is lay it flat, which is going to be hard for you guys to see, but you'll wind up seeing the end results. That way I can actually go and excuse me. Sorry, I'm going to move the camera here, see if I can get you guys a better angle on it. Nope, that ain't going to work. I was hoping to get you a better angle. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. Last second here. Nope. Okay. Well, you guys are just going to hang out here, and I get to show you the results, because that doesn't work that way. I tried. I made an effort. So as you see, I'm just laying the bait flat on the table, and I'll be putting the stencil over the top of it, and I will be strategically hitting this with black. I can't just go all over the whole thing and just do black, because that's not going to make sense. It's just going to become a whole black piece of a whole black fish. We don't want that. Right now I'm clearing out my airbrush. I use a little bit of water just to clear it out. I've heard some people say don't use water. I've heard others say water's fine. I use water. I really like to keep my airbrush as clean as possible. You know, this is an investment. When you're investing money into it, you got to take care of it. So I don't mind doing water through it, and then every day at the end of the night, or if it does happen to get a little, if I let the paint sit in there too long because I'm talking or tweaking out with something else, then I just do an extra clean like I just did. So with me talking so much there, it left a little bit of paint in the cup after I rinsed out with water. So now I got it nice and shiny. Okay, so we're going to use a transparent black. To go over this. Why transparent black? Because I don't want the black to take over everything. I want some of the colors to pop through, and if it just so happens to be a thinner piece of the transparent, it's definitely going to pop through with some of the colors. So I am now just going to kind of lightly hit the area, take a peek at it. I think that looks pretty cool, actually. I'll flip that over. Do this side real quick. I think once I get these side patterns done, then I can put it back up on the stand and be able to actually paint the black back. So let me get this in place. So I really think that came out cool. Again, it's a little bit difficult to see, but you've got green at the top and you got the sand color on the bottom. So now the next step for this one is just to hit that back and get that whole back and a little bit of faded down with that black. Wait, back to black. Hit some up on that face a little bit, around the nose. Hit the back end a little bit along the tail. And there we go. That actually looks pretty cool. I don't know if it's real hard for you guys to see, but I'm going to put the light on my phone and see if it helps at all. It really doesn't. It doesn't help, but I'll tell you, if you go on my Facebook page and or on my Instagram page, I will wind up having a photo on there of this thing probably tomorrow night, so you'll be able to see them. And when I'm painting that back, I'm being very careful because I don't want to hit this top fin on the sides. I want it to be green, as you can see. So I'm very careful that when I'm shooting this black, I'm shooting just straight down and I'm not hitting it from the sides at all because I want that fin on top to be green. So we've got the green color off of this fin, and I want it to stay that way, but the top of it's black. So that's one of those things where you're always just trying to watch or learn your airbrush and know how it's going to flow and, you know, your direction and paying attention to all that stuff. And for me, like, the only thing I really want to do, and I'm not going to do it this second, but because I'm going to finish the black up in these, but I want to go over this fin here and make it a little bit more green. It's got some black and stuff on it, of course, because, you know, it's got the speckle, but I want to hit it and make it a little bit more green, just so this fin stands out just a little bit more. But other than that, I'm happy with it. It looks good. I like the colors on it. Going with the sand was kind of nice. Kind of wondering if I maybe like an aqua or some weird color down here just for the heck of it, but I'm not sure yet. I really just kind of like it as it is, so we'll just have to see on that. So we'll put that one off to the side and go for another one. Again, same process, and that's the one thing you'll find if you do start painting lures or whatever it is. This process, you just keep going through this process over and over. Sometimes it can be extremely repetitive, but don't be frustrated by that, because when it's repetitive, it starts to become muscle memory, and over a period of time starts to become easier. Not that you're not going to mess up. I mess up all the time. Some mistakes you can definitely fix. Some you can't. But it will hopefully teach you to make less mistakes and just get better at it. That's all. I'm always very careful not to touch the baits if I can very much, especially with my hands, because you have natural oils and sweat. Like now I'm sweating like a pig, so I keep wiping my forehead. But I want to avoid touching the baits, because then that oils and that sweat and stuff winds up getting on there. And it can cause trouble with the clear coat. It can cause trouble with the paint. So, I mean, that's one thing I recommend, is try to avoid constantly touching it. This is not just made to protect my hand from getting paint all over it, my fingernails and stuff, but now I'm allowed to touch the bait with this because it doesn't have all those oils on it. So that's just another thing to kind of keep in mind if you ever start painting lures. One more to go. This one wanted with a little bit more black on it, and that's okay, than the other one. They're never going to be 100% perfect and exactly the same. I mean, I think it's perfect in its own way. But even some of the factory baits, some of them, you're not going to get those to be 100% perfect either. So some of the companies do a good job at making them consistent and perfect, because it's all computer generated, ways to do it and all that stuff. But for me, it's not that. It's just a dude doing his thing in his garage, like you guys see. So that's another one down. We got one more to go. So I just tell you, I try to avoid touching it with my hand. I've probably been doing it the whole time, but I do. I mean, I really do try to avoid touching it. All right. There we go. There's one more. So now for me, the next steps on this one, you know, of course, pick the eyes for it. I'm really gonna just Google it and see what color eyes a crappie has. It might just be silver and black or whatever it is, but that'll be kind of the next step, is determining what color eye I want, and then again, put my logo at the bottom, and then give it a clear coat. This is another one where I'm going to have to paint on the clear coat, because you do not want to get the clear coat on any of the joints. That's a big no-no, because it'll never swim properly again. So obviously the joints are right in between here. These are made out of a very, very hard cloth, and I've never had one tear, so they're really good, high quality, right in between here. So if you get clear coat on that cloth, it's never going to swim proper. So you have to be very careful when clear coating. Like I said, I'll go through and just very carefully paint each segment on this thing, which takes a while to do with the clear coat, and then I put it in my UV box to finish off the clear coat. And yeah, give it a couple hours there, and that'll be done. So each of these baits has a little bit more work on each of them to do, but this is the whole process of it. So you know, for me, that's pretty much a wrap for the night, just for the fact that I've got to let these, I prefer to let these baits sit usually, you know, at least 12 hours before I mean, I can do them before 12 hours, but I'd like to let them cure for at least 12 hours before I do the clear coat. I can do it before that, and I've not had any issues, but it's just kind of a personal preference to make sure everything's dry, and I don't mess up any of the painting that I've done. So like I said, this will sit until tomorrow sometime, probably tomorrow evening. Then I'll go through and get the final steps done. So, but all right, well, I just wanted to wrap it up. I just wanted to just jump on here for a little bit and at least say hi, because I have not been around. And again, it's not that I haven't wanted to be around. It's just been extremely busy. The lure business is keeping me way busier than expected. It's funny, when I got into YouTube, I didn't have a whole lot going on life-wise, you know, just working and just basic life. And then after, you know, after a little bit of time's gone on since I've been on here, you know, work has changed, and I wound up getting more responsibilities, which means more time at work and things of that nature. And then, you know, the lure business has blown up way beyond what I ever expected it to. So that's been really, really a blessing and really awesome, and keeps me extremely busy. And then, of course, just home stuff, life stuff, kids stuff, personal stuff, you know, that occupies your time. I'm still out there fishing. I'm not, you know, not recording it all the time, or not editing the videos that I do capture. That's why they're sitting on my Mac, taking up all my space. So, but I did, just like I said, just want to jump on here, say hello, let you guys know that I am still around, and then hopefully soon I will have some more videos up. Maybe lure painting videos, and maybe another live stream. It may be an actual edited video if I get off my lazy butt or switch responsibilities for the day to go do that. So, but hopefully I can jump back on here, another live stream at some point, and start painting something from beginning to end. Everything you guys saw today was started yesterday. So, and I've pretty much got everything I've started done, and I'll just continue. You know, tomorrow's another day. Get these finished up and continue the next set of lures, whatever they may be. So, but all right, well, thank you guys for jumping on here. If you have not subscribed to the channel already, please do so if you like the content. Give this video a like, comment below, just say hi, something. Just a little bit of interaction with this video will help to promote it and help, you know, kind of get other people seeing it. So, but thank you guys for jumping on, and we'll talk to you soon.